Hey guys, what's going on? Hope everyone is doing well. Today I wanted to run through some thoughts on FOV, or field of view, as understanding what it is and then tweaking it to your liking can help improve your gameplay in most FPS games. Now this information will primarily apply to PC players, as they are the ones who most likely have an FOV slider, but now that consoles are becoming more powerful, some games support changing FOV on Xbox and PS4 as well. So what is FOV? Well, the Wikipedia article defines it like this. In first-person video games, the field of view, or field of vision, abbreviated FOV, is the extent of the observable game world that is seen on the display at any given moment. The article then goes on to show how the different FOVs are calculated, but for this video and my own sanity, I'm not going to try and decipher them since we aren't going to need to calculate them on the fly. Now, the number you see in your game settings for FOV is not a universal number across games. The number will depend on the aspect ratio that the game is using to determine the FOV. That being said, most games now are using a 16:9 aspect ratio, which means if you want to have a 90-degree FOV, then you set it to 90 and move on about your business. Battlefield games are a bit odd as they utilize a 4:3 ratio for FOV, and the number you see in the settings is not the horizontal component like it is in other games like Warzone. It's the vertical component. So in order to get that same 90-degree FOV in Battlefield, you would need to set the FOV slider somewhere around 59 to get a 16:9 90-degree FOV. Clear as mud, right? Let's run through a default example from Battlefield. Battlefield starts you off at a default FOV value of 55, which brings your horizontal FOV to 70 at a 4:3 ratio. This is what it will tell you in the settings menu. However, no one really plays games at a 4:3 ratio anymore, and I'd be willing to bet you're on a 16:9 monitor or TV, so what you are actually physically seeing at that same 55 setting is a horizontal FOV of around 85-ish, 86 degrees for that 16:9 ratio. Why Battlefield does it this way, I don't know. Perhaps old holdovers and Frostbite from when we were all gaming on old TVs. What it really does is serve to confuse people who are trying to FOV match. So let's say you're like me and you like to switch between Modern Warfare, Warzone, and Battlefield titles, and you want to match your FOVs. What do you need to do? Well, if you want a 90-degree horizontal FOV at a 16:9 ratio, then you would need to set Battlefield around 59 or 60, and you would set Warzone to 90. See how much easier it is when the game has the setting in that 16:9 ratio? It's miles easier to understand and match. So now that you understand that different games are on different scales for FOV, should you even try to match them in the first place? There are people out there that will try to convince you that in order to improve muscle memory and aim better, you need to match FOV across games. I am of the opinion, as of the creation of this video, that that's a bunch of BS. A player that wants to truly master aim and be the best they can be will be able to do so at almost any FOV they select. I wasn't always of this opinion, though. I looked into everything I just told you about not 2-3 weeks ago to figure out how I could match everything up, then realized it was a little pointless. I run a FOV setting in Battlefield 4, 1, and 5 of 74, which gives me an actual 16:9 FOV of 106.521, and then I set that exact same one in Warzone. I'd been running it at 90 in Warzone though, because I thought that's where I was in Battlefield due to the confusing stuff I mentioned earlier, and didn't even notice the difference until I got to looking into it. Different games have different sizes for objects in the environment as well as character models, and those character models often move at different speeds, or the gameplay itself may move at a different speed. For that reason, you may not want to match FOV because what suits one game may not suit another. When it comes down to it, your FOV is wholly a personal preference from game to game. You have to do what best suits your playstyle. If you choose to match it across games, then you absolutely can. If you want to run things up closer on, say, Valorant or CSGO, and then keep things wide for Warzone and Battlefield, you can. Neither direction will hurt your aim specifically, and if you're using the FOV that is most appropriate for the flow of the game you're playing, you'll be just fine. So is FOV matching across games a must-do for better gameplay? No. Do whatever allows you to play best in the game you're in, and don't listen too much to the naysayers who believe everything has to be synced up to build muscle memory. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and if you did, please be sure to take a moment to click the like button for me, as the engagement will help the channel grow. FOV was a topic I really delved into recently to further understand it and to help me improve my own gameplay, and I hope this will help you improve yours as well. I'm also thinking of doing another video on FOV to run down some reasons why you might choose to alter it and explain some differences between high and low FOVs. There's some pros and cons to both. So stay tuned for that by clicking the subscribe button for me to ensure that you don't miss it. Until then, I'm HotSauceZee, and I'll see y'all out there. Take care.